Nicholas Alexander Castellanos for the win. And with a big play by Nick Castellanos, who we all believe in, Phillies take game 2 of the NLDS, a 7-6 down the wire walk-off win for the Phillies. Welcome in to PHLY Phillies podcast presented by Ace Hardware. And of course, make sure you check out all the exciting things that Ace Hardware Home Services has online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project with our friends over at Ace Hardware. Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington, everybody, let's take a let out a big exhale. That game was insane. It took a while for the offense to get going. Wasn't a great start. We knew about the shadows. We knew about all the little things. But the offense behind back-to-back home runs by Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos tied the game up, gave this game whole new life. And even once they went down 4-3, the Phillies continued to hang around. And here we are, guys, as the game has come to an end with a 7-6 win, closing out this homestand before shifting and on the road at Citi Field. Nick Castellanos sends us off with a 1-1 split series. We got plenty of folks in the chat tuning in live, Twitter, YouTube, Roku. We appreciate all of you guys, whether you're a Phillies fan or even our Mets fans that have trickled in. Insane baseball that we just watched.
Did they come in, the Mets fans? I don't think we'll be hearing as much from Rat City tonight. Just a guess. I don't know about you guys. I was cool, calm, collected the entire game. I never once felt like it was in jeopardy or they were going to lose it. I just kind of thought, this was inevitably going to be a walk-off, and I'm happy. Just kidding. I was a nervous wreck. My pulse is still spiked very high. I was just a nervous wreck that entire game. Wow. What a baseball game that was. The Mets truly are Dracula right now. Like, you need to shove that stake through their heart. Hopefully, the offense woke up, and this is something you can carry into game 3 for the time being. I need to drink a Miller Lite. That was something.
Listen, the Mets, it's Francisco Lindor, it's Brandon Nimmo, it's Mark Vientos, it's Pete Alonso. They just do not go away. And I am so thrilled that the Phillies continued to rally. Down 3-0, and we were all saying once they gave up that third run, that solo home run Pete Alonso hit, that Jose Ruiz should not have been out in that moment. That feels like it was late years ago that we were talking about why bring Jose Ruiz out in the 6th inning after Cristopher Sanchez had a solid inning today, solid performance today. In that moment, you give up a solo home run. And with how the offense had been playing, anemic, as Tyler always says, you didn't want to give up any runs at all. None of that matters now because we look back, and I don't remember complaining about Jose Ruiz coming out. I will say, this is playoff baseball. It's insane. It's wild. I know if you're not a fan of the Phillies or Mets and we're watching that game, you just enjoyed the game. For those of us that have a horse in the race, chaos, gray hairs, heart racing, peeing our pants at times, insane.
I tinkled.
Definitely had some tinkling moments. But the most important thing is Nick Castellanos steps up in a big moment. Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos. We wanted guys to step up after the frustrations of yesterday's loss.
It's a little hot in here, isn't it?
I'm on fire.
Right?
I'm on fire.
I know that was a great game, but damn, it's like a hot box.
You didn't wear a hoodie pregame. Shout out to those of you that joined us for the pregame show and the watch along. I know we had some great pregame predictions, and some of you did predict a walk-off Phillies win. Oh, wow, Chuck in the hoodie. And we did get a walk-off Phillies win.
Never a doubt.
Never a doubt.
Dare I say, because now I'm going to get a little chesty. I got to watch myself.
Boy.
Dare I say LOL Mets? Now it's game 3, and Aaron Nola becomes the most important man in the world. Hopefully the offensive floodgates and bad thoughts and juju they had going on, the demons are exercised, and this carries over to game 3. But this is now a 3-game series. You got to win 2 games, and you're going to have Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler going in 2 of them. So no excuses. Play like a champion. Go up to New York and win a game, and you can bring it back to now not curse Citizens Bank Park, because I was worried there if that was going to be 4 home losses in a row. I was going to say burn the building down, but I think we can save Citizens Bank Park for a little while longer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I know there were a lot of highs and lows in that game. We're going to, of course, talk through all the numbers, the stats, the pitching performance from Cristopher Sanchez. We'll get into the offense. We'll get into all the nuts and bolts of the game. But as Greg is saying in the chat, it was always about the bats. The pitching that we've seen from the starting pitching, because the bullpen is a whole other topic, and we'll get there too, guys. Don't you worry. The starting
like
pitching.
Bobby's mom there. Don't you
know?
That?
You know that show.
I know
Every time
Bobby's
I do that
World.
reference, nobody knows Bobby's World.
I know Bobby's
Don't
World.
you know? The bullpen has been not great, okay? But starting pitching has been solid. Today we got another good performance from Cristopher Sanchez off of the heels of yesterday's Zach Wheeler, iconic, historic, one of the best postseason pitching performances we've ever seen, not only in a Phillies jersey, but for anyone. And for Cristopher Sanchez to come out in his 5 innings pitched, gave up 5 hits, a pair of earned runs, a walk, 5 strikeouts on the day. And even with that, he had that one bad pitch that was a 2-run homer that he gave up. Outside of that, Sanchez was solid. You know,
yeah, he
really
did
his
good.
part.
He kept you in the game.
He kept you in the game, absolutely. To leave the mound after 5 and it just be a 2-0 game is enough for the Phillies to work with. And thank goodness the offense actually showed up to reward him with that.
That back-to-back from Harper and Castellanos, I mean, that saved the year. Bryce and Stott. Nick Castellanos is the MVP of the game because, look, Bryce busted open there with a 2-run shot off of the Ivy. And obviously that's huge. It gives you a sense of hope and brings you back into the game. And we're not here if that hit doesn't happen. But Castellanos immediately, you know, just pouncing on it right away and tying it right up and not letting that moment of doubt like creep in and just taking advantage of the moment. And then to get from first to home on Stott's hit. Nick Castellanos typically runs like he's carrying a piano on his back. That man was moving. He bottled up some adrenaline and said, I'm bleeping scoring, get out of my way. He was moving. And then to come up, in the bottom of the 9th and walk it off. I mean, that is a banner day for Nick Castellanos. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I still can't believe he scored from first to home on that Stott hit. Dude was moving.
Yeah, I mean, listen, what it comes down to is in that moment, you saw for Nick Castellanos, Mr. 162. He's the guy you can count on every day as a right fielder, as he's DH'd for a few games, but you can count on him every single day to step up and to be there. And for him to have had a chance to go out there today, put the team on his back, he went and finished 3 for 5 on the day with, of course, the home run, as you talk about those back-to-back home runs that him and Bryce rattled off in the 6th, and then also the game-winning play at the end to be able to get Trey Turner home. We love to see this. This is fantastic by Nick Castellanos. This is why even back when people were giving him so much heat and ready to DFA him and send him off for having a bad April, you look at how Nick Castellanos has been since. He is one of the most calm under pressure Phillies. And yesterday was an O for day for Nick. But we don't get that often from Nick Castellanos. He's progressively gotten better as the season goes on. And down the stretch, towards the end of the regular season especially, it was Nick Castellanos that we can count on to help get you RBIs, home runs, helping to win games. So I love the fact that Nick, who's really emerging as one of those like quiet leaders, has the opportunity in a moment like that. It didn't take a home run. This team, we talked about it. The Mets have been small balling the Phillies to death. Singles, walks, sac flies. Saw it again today. The Phillies finally started to do the same. And you look at the bottom of the 9th. It was Trey Turner gets on, a single.
Bryce
gets walked.
Yeah.
Nick Castellanos just drives one into the gaps. Like, you don't need to hit a home run to win the game. You have to keep innings alive. And that bottom of the 9th, and like you said, Jamie, might be enough that this opens things up for the Phillies. You go back to Citi Field, split series. It's a whole new series now.
All right, one of my golfing buddies, Dan Duffy, in the chat says, thank you, Casty. Thank you, Dan, for hopping in here. Yeah, I mean, and it's so cool after the game. He runs right over, and Liam's behind home plate. How do you not get romantic about baseball? I mean, that is just, imagine the day they're having, you know? That's a moment for life that they will hopefully be able to bottle up and, think fondly of forever, because that is unbelievable to do that. Bryce Harper, the greatest showman on earth.
The greatest.
I mean, we talked about it earlier. He's 4th OPS all-time in MLB history in the playoffs. You just never doubt what that guy is capable of. What a game. And Bryson Stott, like, maybe this is something can get him moving in the right direction here. That was a great at-bat by him. Whew. what a game. It does suck that the bullpen has kind of made you uneasy, but going forward, can it get worse?
You said that yesterday, though, Jamie. I don't like that line. I don't think that question is as great as you think it is.
Can
Stop
it get worse?
asking that.
I don't think it can get worse, right? They're letting up runs. 4 of the 5 Phillies pitchers today allowed a home run. That's not good. That's not a good recipe. But we won't focus on that. But
no,
hopefully it can't get worse.
We will get into the real, because we're not going to be on this show acting like everything's perfect. It's not. This is a terrifying team right now with how they're playing. I can't look at this group. And even today with the win, I'm going to enjoy this win. We're going to enjoy this moment of a victory post-game show for everybody that thought we were a jinx. It's a victory post-game show. That's right. But the reality is,
I really wish I could crack beer cans on my head.
The reality is, this is terrifying.
Though.
I know Paul Castellanos just tweeted out, Nick Castellanos led the majors with 4 walk-off hits during the regular season and just got his 5th, of course, in the Phillies playoff must-win game. His others that he's had, for the other players that I should say that have had walk-off postseason hits in Phillies history outside of Nick Castellanos today, back in 2009 in the NLCS Game 4, Jimmy Rollins did it. In 2008,
it was in the house today.
In 2008, yes, he was. In 2008, in the World Series Game 3, your buddy Chooch did it. In 93, in the NLCS Game 1, it was Batista did it. And then in 81, in the NLDS Game 4, it was Vukovic that hit a home run. The 5th walk-off Phillies postseason hit in club history goes to Nick Castellanos, exactly who we expected. Nick Clutch Castellanos. But you brought up Bryce Stott, who on his birthday, he turned 27 today, I believe it was, has a game that, when we were talking about the starting lineup pregame, and I know even I saw people tweeting about it, posting about it, why Alec Bohm out of the lineup? Why not Stott? Why is Stott moved up in the lineup? All the questions around Bryce Stott. We saw him make an incredible defensive play in the first inning. Then he had that grab out of the air.
He was trying really hard to get people fired up defensively.
He was.
It's hard to get a stadium fired up over defensive plays. But Bryce was bringing that energy. I think it was the end of the second inning, made that nice play, chucked the ball up to the upper deck.
I meant Bryce in, but it's fine.
Oh, you said Bryce in?
But it's totally fine.
Well, whatever.
But Bryce also, yes.
Bryce, and sorry, the Vegas boys on the right side of the infield.
Woo. But that's the thing. Both, you need guys that in
Stott's
those big moments,
because that's probably a run.
That's a run, exactly.
Yeah.
That's inning number 1 of the game.
Yeah.
You make a big play like that. That's huge. Bryce Stott showed why he got the start today. Of course, he also helped you offensively as well. As the game went on, Bryce Stott was a part of helping to score a run. He did have that. He had the 2 RBIs that he was able to log today. Huge play for Bryce Stott to get that opportunity after you were tied up 3-3, down 4-3, and then Bryce Stott comes through to give you the 5-4 lead. Huge moment for Bryce Stott on his birthday to help put the team on his back. But we do also have a super chat.
Speaking of Cassie, real quick before you get to the super chat, how do you guys feel about Whit Merrifield tweets about the Phillies?
No, he did not. What did he say?
He said, Casty so clutch, it's unbelievable. Pulling for the guys.
Is he one of those? Is this one of those situations
where
it's like
mercenary? His team's out of it, so
the ex that wants you back?
I'm sure he wanted to be here. You know what I mean? He's probably watching Citizens Bank Park go nuts and go, oh, that was cool. I remember I wanted to do that. But he's friends with all these guys, so that's cool to see.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, listen, great for Whit that he's still a fan.
Thanks,
lovely.
Whit.
But Martian Lynch did say, how can you not be romantic about baseball? -Bean. Yeah, this is exactly.
Old Billy Bean.
This is what you love about, especially playoff baseball. I think everybody, regardless who are a fan of, you had a little bit of a heart attack today. You might have jumped up and down out of your seats. You might have cried a little bit. You might have punched something or high-fived people. This is playoff baseball. It gives you a little bit of everything. And the swings and momentum are insane. So today, Bryce Stott, Nick Castellanos, Bryce Harper, huge. Trey Turner. We talked about Trey Turner being one of the worst at-bats yesterday of all the Phillies in his 0-for-4 day. Comes out today, finishes 2-for-4. Of course, a pair of runs, including the game-winning run that he scored off of the walk-off RBI by Nick Castellanos. He drew a walk. He did the little things. He was stealing bags. He was aggressive on the base running. This is what you need from your guys. And so even though someone like Kyle Schwarber goes 0-for-5, You had Trey, Bryce, Nick, Bryson, and JT. That's 2 through 5 that were able to contribute offensively today. Every single one of them gave you either a hit or actually a couple of hits, a walk. They gave you something. This team goes as the top of their lineup goes. And so finally, we got some offense. Finally, it took them a day. They weren't here yesterday, but finally we got some freaking offense for the Phillies, which gives us extra excitement heading into Tuesday, Game 3 at Citi Field. I know we'll be live. Now we actually have an opportunity. We'll be live for our pregame and postgame show, as well as a watch party out of Gall & Co., the Port Richmond location. You guys can actually hang with us. The details are on our website at allphly.com. But this makes that Game 3 where we all get a chance to watch together.
It's not a week anymore. It's a whole new series.
It's a whole new series. I was a little nervous going into our live shows and watch party at Gall & Co. on Tuesday. But now when we have that pregame show starting 4:30 with you guys in attendance, it'll be that much sweeter because we're talking about taking a lead in the NLDS. Exciting, exciting times.
Yeah, Bryce Harper's talking right now to the media scrum in the locker room and said, just an absolutely electric atmosphere. We continue to fight for the fans because we're playing with them, not and for them. So really cool stuff for Castellanos, and Bryce. I can't imagine the high those guys are on right now. Like, man, that's got to be awesome. So some really cool stuff. We'll, of course, share a couple of the clips throughout the post-game show here. But this team, hopefully this is the moment you look back on and go, all right, this is the point where they became a team. Hopefully the offense was awakened. That's my biggest hope going forward. The offense can be back.
Yeah.
Because that was brutal for the first couple innings.
Well, again, we talked about it in our watch along. Between yesterday's game and today's game, you look at just how little their offense produced. You can't have that against any team, especially the pesky Mets, who have now had 44 comeback, burping up some Miller Lite, who've had 44 comeback wins this season, 3 of them in the postseason. They're a team that is a late game team, and you can't continue to allow them to hang around and stay alive. You got to put them away. So glad that Nick Castellanos was able to put the game away bottom of the 9th, because if we had to go into extra innings, I was going to be terrified. We were talking about it, terrified for what that looked like. But before we get into some of the highlights of the game and look back, I want to handle some business and tell you guys a little bit about some of our friends. So this season, if you ever have any issues, leaky pipes, plumbing issues, air conditioning issues, anything else that you have going on, at Ace Hardware Home Services, which are locally found around anywhere, honestly. They're so easy to find on like every corner. I feel like I can find an Ace Hardware, it feels like. They always have the equipment and the people to help take care of any issues you may have. If you got a faucet you need fixing, you have an air conditioning issue, whatever it is, Ace Hardware has a person for that. They've got a qualified staff that has decades of experience in the industry. Now, when you walk in the stores or you reach out to them over the phone or online, they're going to be able to point you in the right direction. And with Ace Hardware, they also have the experience. So now when they're getting those repairs, you're getting trusted local plumbers. You're getting trusted techs that are going to be able to repair any issues, whether it's seasonal maintenance issues, installation, upgrades, whatever it is, Ace Hardware can help with that. And along with the understanding and great customer support, they also provide you with an opportunity to get free estimates. So if you need to get any equipment installed, you can get free estimates on that equipment installation and replacements with trusted advisors and options that are best suited for you and for your family and your home. So whether it's an emergency service, or you need to get a repair, whatever it is, they have the service you can trust and satisfaction guaranteed. They make it right no matter what. Locally, they have a great community presence of giving you and your neighbors the comfort in your home to always get the repairs that you need. So visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at www.acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. So happy that we've got Red October powered by Ace Hardware Home Services, and you can check them out yourselves online and get started today.
Yeah, and let me tell you about my friends right here. They've been with me. They've been calming my Phillies anxiety during the game, and that's Miller Lite. It's the original light beer since 1975, and to this day, it's still the best one. You want to know why? Because they keep it simple. They got rid of everything they don't need, and they just held on to what matters most. And what is that matters most? I don't know, a low-caloric beer that doesn't fill you up, and it tastes like a light beer should taste. Well, that's what Miller Lite has perfected. And whether it's down at the game, at a tailgate, with family and friends, the golf course, the pool, the ocean, the mountains, whatever, this little friend right here, always a good time, especially when friends and family are around. And you get to share in great moments like that Phillies walk-off today. So just buy the original light beer since 1975. It's not complicated. They're the best because they stood the test of time. And you don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/PHLY Phillies, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer. All it took was like 2 yells reacting, and I can already feel my voice hanging on for dear life.
I feel like you don't, yeah.
It goes quick when I yell.
I can yell a lot, and my voice, for the most part, does not go.
I cannot.
Yeah, it's that, I feel like as a player and a coach, I was always screaming and yelling. All right, so we've got an instant classic, as my mom was just texting me saying, hey, Mom. This was an instant classic. It was crazy. It was slow to start. We talked about the shade and the shadow and all the different things that, may have been prohibiting both offenses from getting going. But as that game got further along, and I know Matt is saying in the chat, Big Stick Nick, we got a little BDN on our hands here.
That's fine with me.
He's back.
Well,
BDN in the Phillies jersey. We have, Tyler, do you have the clip of the walk-off? I feel like we need to enjoy this moment one more time.
We will once my computer
Let us
decides
know
to
when
want
you've got
to work.
it. Because we're going to take a look back at that play. I just feel like it's one of those moments of zen that we all needed today, especially with the last 24 hours. There's been headaches, there's been frustration, there's been us wanting to throw our phones and whatever through the TV screen. But thank you to Nick Castellanos for what was a classic baseball game. Shout out to all of you guys that are tuned in with us here. It's a victory post-game show here on PHLY Phillies. And you guys can let us know your thoughts. How are you feeling? I know there are some Mets fans that are now trickling in. I'm seeing TFA saying, ring the bell. Is that a flag from Italy? What's up, man? Nice to have you here, or woman. I don't know if you are. Rohit just saying heroic win. John Messina, the fighting Phillies win. That's right, guys. They've won. The biggest takeaway the biggest game-changing moment, I should say, was the back-to-back home run. It definitely felt like that opportunity where you finally started to see the offense wake up a little bit. It was an energy boost. The crowd was quiet at Citizens Bank Park. Also, the overall, just like the vibes, everything was low. You needed to get people back up on their feet. You needed to get the team going again. And that's when we started seeing the chest bumps and the high fives and the excitement come back. And so I do just think that, for this Phillies team, they've got to carry that. They've got to carry that for a full game every time. Someone has to be the one that's going to rally the troops. They rallied late. And fortunately, thanks to the pitching by Cristopher Sanchez alone, this was a close game down the stretch. But you've got to make sure you're rallying like that all the time to make sure you're putting together full games.
The Mets just don't go away. They're very annoying. Vientos is a guy I'm just going to hate for a decade. I know it. The fact that he was able to hit that 107, it was like 3 inches above the strike zone, and he just kind of muscled it out at 107 miles an hour to left center. I don't really know how he did it, but this Mets team, they're a real son of a... they just don't go away easily, and you're gonna have to get better performances from your bullpen going forward. That has to happen. Aaron Nola could go out there and give you a gem, but if every bullpen arm that comes in lets up a home run or a run, there was Paul Casella tweeted out something wild about Matt Strahm there and the rarity in what he did. He said Matt Strahm, and Paul Casella is from MLB.com. Matt Strahm did not give up a run in back-to-back outings at any point this season. He gave up just 2 runs in August and September combined. He allowed 2 runs in game 1 and 2 runs in game 2 without even finishing an inning. Just unreal. Like that is crazy stuff that cannot carry over. Like offense, let's get on the train and travel up to New York. But the bullpen, I say it can't get any worse because look at how abnormal it is what happened here. So interesting decision. I know we were talking about it at the time. Carlos Estevez only throws 8 pitches and looked dominant. And then you go to Strahm in the 9th. You had Strahm and Hoffman available. I thought it was a little interesting. He chose Strahm there. Luckily, Nick made that a moot point that we don't have to talk about because Rob Thompson, I think, would have been under intense scrutiny for his bullpen decisions. But yeah, just kind of wild stuff. But the bullpen, they can't take this to New York. They gotta tighten the ship.
They have to. And it's odd because Matt Strahm did have a 6 flat ERA in the month of July. And then in August and September, across 21 2/3 innings, he pitched a sub-1 ERA, a .83 ERA across those 21 2/3 innings pitched. He's actually had the scoreless streak that he had prior to July and then was getting rattled, getting hit around a little bit, bounced back, though, to end the season. But you look at both yesterday and today for Matt Strahm, it hasn't been a good performance. The bullpen as a whole, as you mentioned, have been struggling. And that's been an area that we've talked about as a strength. I know we mentioned it on the watch-along. You look at last season and what cost the Phillies the NLCS. There were a few things. But one of the main things was you had to go to Craig Kimbrell back-to-back games 3 and 4. You had to go to Orion Kerkering back-to-back. Orion, who hadn't at that point, definitely not the Orion Kerkering of today, but had only played, the last few games of the regular season, hadn't had a lot of Major League Baseball experience in general, and you were calling on him in big moments. And the Phillies were unable to close out when they had the 3-2 lead against the Diamondbacks, and a big part of that was the offense going cold, inability to mix up from home run or bust and play small ball, and the bullpen. Yet here we are, in the NLDS Game 2, and it feels like it's those same exact issues that have come back around. The bullpen today.
What is this, last year? Come on, I thought we got
feeling
past
like last year. We've been talking so much about letting go of the NLCS and moving on from it. Well, today you have, again, 4 runs you give up by the bullpen, and you mentioned 4 different home runs by 5 pitchers gave up.
It's wild.
It's insane. The Mets were single home running the Phillies to death. And then on top of that, of course, yesterday we saw that 5-run 8th inning where you gave up 5 singles, a couple of sac flies, a walk. You can't have this. This bullpen we've been seeing so much. You bring in Carlos Estevez. We've been getting Orion Kerkering. His numbers, his velocity, his command has been phenomenal. Jeff Hoffman and Matt Strahm have been great. And we've even been talking about, they have a problem of riches of too many guys to go to in high leverage situations. High leverage situations in the playoffs, and the bullpen has not shown up in 2 games now. For whatever that needs to happen over the next, 48 hours until Tuesday's 5:08 start, this bullpen has to get back to somewhat looking like the regular season, especially the highs of what we saw from this bullpen, because you're going to need them, especially with the Mets team, as we talked about. 44 comeback wins for the Mets this season, which leads Major League Baseball. 3 of those in the postseason. They've won 3 games this postseason, guys. 2 in the wild card and 1 yesterday. All 3 of their wins in the playoffs have been comeback wins. So who does that lean on? Your bullpen. Your bullpen has to show up if you're going to win this series. Otherwise, you're going to need Aaron Nola to have a complete game.
Yeah,
Range Suarez, a complete game at this point.
The concerning thing is it's been all of them. It hasn't just been one guy. It's been all of them. Orion didn't look right today. Strahm is as steady can be throughout the course of the regular season. Playoff baseball is a real SOB, and hopefully, Renee, it can't get any worse.
Hopefully. Well, over the last 3 games, I know this stat was put out. Over the last 3 games, the Mets have hit 2 go-ahead home runs in the 7th inning or later on the road. They had just 1 home run in the postseason history prior to this week. So this is a group that down the stretch is they're hitting home runs, they're making plays, they're winning games, and then of course Mark Vientos then added on to that with his 2-run homer. The bullpen needs to be figured out ASAP. The offense also needs to be figured out ASAP if this team is going to win the NLDS. Otherwise, get ready to head to Cancun, guys, because that's where we're headed next.
I would really love Brandon Nimmo's ass to be on a beach in Cancun at the end of this week. That would really bring me a lot of joy. He is most undoubtedly Pete Alonso, most hateable face. Brandon Nimmo, you're a close second. And we're not going to get chesty yet because it's only 1-1. But, you had a lot to say to the Phillies dugout and JT Realmuto when you crossed the plate.
Let's talk about that.
And I wish you the worst, sir. I hope you stub your toe tomorrow morning. I hope you stub your toe in the locker room. And
step on some Legos.
Yeah, step on a couple. By the way, oh God,
they hurt. That hurts so bad.
And you know what else hurts a lot? The little figurines. My kids are obsessed with these little Disney and Spider-Man figurines.
So I'm gonna go throw some Legos in the clubhouse for the Mets. Go step on some Legos.
Didn't see it coming. You're like, just cut my foot off. I don't need it. All right, let's.
But wait, let me tell you. Talking about heading to Cancun, and I want to handle some business in case anyone is headed to Cancun or anything. So, listen, if you are planning a trip, let's say you're the Braves and you're off in the offseason, or anybody else. Nobody needs to catch strays because it could be the Phillies if they keep having a bullpen blunder like this. But Shady Rays are a place that has the premium polarized shades. Honestly, the Phillies could have used some Shady Rays yesterday and today with the way that the shadows were coming in with that 4:08 start. Because when you want to get ready for the season ahead with quality shades that are built to last, our friends at Shady Rays have you covered. Premium polarized shades, they've got hundreds of different options and styles to choose from that can match whatever team. So you want to get some nice Red October themed shades, they got you. If you want to get some Eagles themed shades, they got you. Anything you're looking to match with, your swag, your style, they've got hundreds of options to choose from. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company. They've got actually over 300,000 people that have rated them 5 stars. And there's a reason why. They give you a sleek design. They give you great frames. They're durable. And they also provide you with the customer service that if you ever want to exchange them or maybe you lose them, Shady Rays will get you a new pair right away with their 30-day Shady Rays return-free guarantee, plus some other customer service deals they have in place as well. So you don't have to worry about breaking the bank, breaking your Shady Rays, because with Shady Rays, they have all the great support that you need. So exclusively for our listeners today here on our PHLY Phillies victory post-game, post-season show, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. You can head over to shadyrays.com, use code PHLY, and get 35% off your polarized sunglasses. Try them for yourselves, the shades that are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people over at shadyrays.com.
Excuse me, I'm just browsing the Game Time app for the tickets for Tuesday. Not that we're going to be going up there because we'll be here working at Gall & Co., but I was curious what the prices are.
What we got?
And Game Time's the best. Not only can you get image seat views, you also get flash deals, super deals, amazing deals, the all-in price, so you're not going to get hit with a bunch of fees at the end. I'm just looking at the tickets right now. Looks like the cheapest get-in price for Tuesday at Citi Field is not cheap, guys. $256 looks like the cheapest one right now. But the beauty of the Game Time app is check out the flash deals and everything they have going on. I've used it a ton of times. I've used it for comedy shows, concerts, sporting events. It's just awesome. I love the all-in pricing. I love the super deals they give you. I love the seat views before you buy. But best off is the Game Time guarantee. If you find tickets for cheaper, Game Time will credit you up to 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, just create an account and redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
Game time, indeed. And now the Phillies have a day off tomorrow before they get into the Game 3. It'll be the ALDS games that are played tomorrow. I am so glad they played back-to-back games because I could not imagine having to wait another day and wait until tomorrow for game number 2. We got game 2 out of our system, and most importantly, we got a win in game 2. So welcome in as we're here on PHLY Phillies podcast presented by Ace Hardware, where it's a victory post-game show. Make sure you guys also check out, as we've got some great articles. I know Jim Salisbury has been putting out pieces around the playoffs. We've also got some merch you guys can check out as well. We dropped some new Phillies shirts, some Ring the Bell shirts, some Defend the Bank shirts that you guys can check out at allphly.com. So make sure to take a moment if you're looking for some new gear to rock out at the ballpark or at the bar, in your house, wherever. We've got some great merch for you that you can check out.
Johnny Mark sent me a picture from Dick's the other day with the PHLY
We
gear.
are at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Very
That's right.
cool
We're at
stuff.
several locations in Jersey, Philly, Delaware, where you can buy some PHLY sports merch as well. But enough about us. Let's get back into the Phillies because this is what we love about this team. Their ability to make sure that they are doing a really good job of grinding out wins and finding ways to piece things together. Now, are they stressful? Absolutely. Are they giving us gray hairs? Absolutely. Did we age? I know somebody in the chat said I aged like 20 years in the course of an hour. Yeah, we did that too. But when you have a moment like Brandon Nimmo barking at the Phillies dugout, to me, that was the moment I was like, nah, you got to win this game. For your pride alone, you cannot have Brandon Nimmo hit. That was his solo home run, I believe. Whatever it was.
I think it was a 2-run shot, wasn't it?
Whatever it was. Yeah, I think it was a 2-run.
No, wait. He got on. I'm trying to remember.
I don't even know. I blocked out all the home runs. I've blocked out all the home runs by Brandon Nimmo.
Wasn't right?
But regardless, Brandon Nimmo comes circling the bases, which is why I think was a home run. But either way, Brandon Nimmo comes circling the bases and then goes chirping at the Phillies dugout as he's doing so in a very pinnacle part of the game. At that point, it was after the game was tied up 3-3. I think it was that solo home run. No, because the fourth home run was, I thought he came around on somebody else's hit. Pete Alonso hit to make it 3-0. And then I feel like, I don't know. Regardless.
Whatever.
Doesn't matter. The point is, when you have someone at your home ballpark, we're at Citizens Bank Park, you're down in the series 1-0. You're already chasing the game. And Brandon Nimmo is circling the bases, chirping at you. I do think it was that solo home run to take the 4-3 lead. You cannot lose that game from your pride alone. This is an NL East opponent. This is an opponent that is a quick train ride or drive away. Your pride, you have to find a way to win that game. So for that play, we talked about the back-to-back home runs being a game changer. To me, Brandon Nimmo barking was another game changer because the Phillies, you got to wake up at that point. You are in front of 40,000 plus fans. You are, again, at Citizens Bank Park. That's supposed to be one of the toughest places to play across Major League Baseball in the playoffs. And in that moment, tides turned, in my opinion. And I am so happy that they won for many reasons, and that is definitely one of them.
Yeah, Rob Thompson's happy they won because who was it that just said M5 there? How come Estevez doesn't close the game out? Only 8 pitches in the 8th inning. Mm-hmm. If they end up losing that game, that's all the talk is why did you not bring Estevez out? Yep. Again, he only threw 8 pitches. What are you saving him for? The other talking point that would have happened a lot is you're down 3-0 and you go to Jose Ruiz. It was
2-0. It was 2-0 at that time. Even worse.
3-0, right.
He made it 3-0.
That is a very unserious move. Now, Orion is the guy I would have said you go to there. He ends up making maybe a case against that an inning later. But regardless, going to Jose Ruiz there, I think we were all kind of like, huh? It's a game you're still very much in, and you're putting the season in Jose Ruiz's hands. That was a big leverage spot. Yeah. So, like, those two moves, Rob Thompson, go buy Nick a nice porterhouse steak, send some Miller Lights to his house, maybe get him an Ace Hardware gift card, maybe Game Time or Shady Rays, whatever it may be. Give that man some presents because he saved your ass tonight. You would have been on the griddle today, Rob Thompson.
Well, on top of that, let's not forget, of course, the lineup itself was changed up. And I agreed with the decision to want to change things up.
Did not make you look smart.
I agree with the decision to have Sosa start in place of Bohm. I know there were arguments to have him start in place of Stott. And, they're looking back, it's easy to say this was correct or this was incorrect. But because of the fact that Sosa went out and had an error, he also on the day didn't give you anything really offensively. He was 0 on the day. And then Alec Bohm comes out as a pinch hitter in the 7th and then first swings at the first pitch, gets out. So those two in general did not give you anything offensively. And then on top of that, we did see that awful error by Sosa early in the game. So Rob Thompson was already on the hot seat for that. And then you turn around and you have a situation, and we're not saying Kirkering. So,
but boy, he is a high leverage pitcher.
He definitely is, and if I'm the one managing this, you're down 2-0. You're pulling Cristopher Sanchez after 5. You're not going to Jose Ruiz. I said it before. The only reason I'd want to see Jose Ruiz or Colby Allard, in my opinion, is if the game is a lopsided blowout. 2-0 in a situation where the Phillies were still in the game, although their offense only had, I believe, 2 hits at the time, and that was Trey Turner, and I forget who had the other hit. The point is their offense wasn't giving you anything. They weren't even giving you hits, but it was still early enough in the game and still a close enough game. You have to go to someone who you think is going to help hold the Mets scoreless. And Pete Alonso, Fran Alonso's a soccer coach. Pete Alonso comes out there, gets that solo home run, and thankfully that's all that happened in the 6th inning. That's fortunately all that we saw Jose Ruiz give up, because if this had been a situation similar to what we saw last night, where that 8th inning eruption by the Mets led them to score 5 runs, and you had this game go from 2-0 to blow open, yeah, Rob Thompson's decision-making and game management is absolutely going to be up to question because there's no reason we should see Jose Ruiz in that moment.
Yeah, Rob Thompson.
Forget the matchups.
Get him a nice bottle of wine.
You're not saving guys. I understand the matchups, so I will say that part. But you're not saving guys. Your season's on the line. You cannot afford to go down 0-2. So that was there were some blunders today for Rob Thompson. And to your point, Nick Castellanos absolutely bailed him out.
Buy that man a nice bottle of Barolo. But yeah, let's smile again. Tyler, you have the clip handy of Nick Castellanos' walk-off because this is one I'll probably watch. I'll set an over-under at 56.5 times before Tuesday's game. Here is courtesy of the Phillies.
Well, hold on.
Well, the computer decided not to work again.
This thing's been giving me nothing but trouble since there's a reason I haven't said a word on this show yet, and it's because this computer has given me nothing but trouble since I've started this show.
You've looked angry producing back there, so I figured not to come to you.
Yeah, not super thrilled. I'm not going to lie to you.
Hey, Tyler, the Phillies won, though.
Yes, they did.
That was cool.
Yeah, so give me like 30 more
we'll
seconds.
Check back on the video.
You know what? Give us a signal. Give us a Batman signal when you've got it. But yes, there were positives from today's game.
What do you want me to say? Like, I'm vengeance. I am the night. Is that what you're looking for? I am Batman.
I was born in the darkness.
The most important thing is the Phillies won. Period. The other thing was Cristopher Sanchez had a really good showing today. I know, again, mentioned it earlier in his 5 innings that he pitched, because if that's another thing we were keeping an eye on. We know the home and road splits for Sanchi. We know how well he's been pitching this season. And so this was a big moment for him. Last year in the playoffs, he only had that one appearance against the Diamondbacks where he was only able to go 2 1/3 innings. So it was good to see Cristopher Sanchez also start the game off strong and show the regular season was not a fluke. This is who he is. He's a big game player. He's going to step up when you need it and help you out. That being said, let's take a look at the other guy that did step up when you needed it most. Tie game, headed into the bottom of the ninth.
Never
Trey
a doubt.
Turner,
Never a doubt.
Single. Bryce Harper walked. You've got 2 on, and here comes Nicholas Alexander Castellanos.
I fear for Tyler's well-being and technology. He's going to break something. He almost broke your laptop during the game.
Yeah, I would have fought you.
Yeah.
We're going to have a fight here soon, me and this computer.
Let's just play it one more time. Roll it back. I need to see this again. From the top.
It was a hell of an at-bat he worked.
Just take this moment in.
And then Harper just missed that one by 2 inches down the right field line. Both of those guys jumped all over him, and that was just absolutely great to see. I'm such a sucker for the father-son stuff.
I love it.
To run right over to Liam, like, God, that's so cool.
Oh, my gosh. I love it. So that is how the game ended, guys. Our moment of zen, because it's been stressful these last hours. That game was over 3 hours long, and it was nothing but nonstop ups and downs, chaos, roller coaster ride. And thank goodness Nick Castellanos stepped up and delivered. And thank goodness we're headed to Citi Field with a split series and not an 0-2.
One of our own employees here at PHLY, shout out to Andrew Frazier in the chat. He said, my heart rate was so high the entire game, my Apple Watch thought I was having a heart attack. I'm sure people with Apple Watches in Citizens Bank Park were like getting the decibel warning on their watches. It's too loud. But I'm sure people's heart. I mean, I didn't feel right. I'm starting to kind of come down a little bit from it. But that was that was a ratcheted up viewing experience. That was truly one of the most wild baseball games I can remember.
And listen, we talked about wanting a competitive down-to-the-wire game. It didn't have to be that down to the wire. I think I should have been a little bit more...
Yeah, you can hold on to the lead once you get it. You don't have to keep allowing them to come back in.
I think I should have been a little bit more clear with my words. When I said I'd rather have them competitive games, I meant if they were to lose. When the Phillies win, we don't need back and forth. We don't need walk-offs. We definitely didn't need extra innings. Go ahead and win. I want more competitive in the sense of, like, if you're going to lose game 1, let it be similar to how that 6-5 Yankees-Royals game was versus you just had nothing outside of the leadoff home run. So I'm glad they won, but, it doesn't have to be that. Beggars can't be choosers, I guess, or whatever. Like, we should just be happy, yada, yada, yada.
Can we talk real quick about how that broadcast was absolutely trash? What was Fox doing? And that's not a YouTube TV issue because there was some speculation in our watch along. They missed at least 4 or 5 pitches of that game being in commercial break. Now, we were listening on mute, so I didn't even get to hear Amin and Wainwright and Przinsky with his J.D. Vance haircut. But just the production of it, too much live action was missed. Whoever was in charge of their commercial breaks today, Absolutely terrible. That was just a bad broadcast from a production standpoint. That's my 2 cents on that. It was embarrassingly bad to the point where somebody from Fox is getting a boot in the ass.
Well, the issue is you can't afford to miss a pitch.
It's terrible.
What if somebody scores on that pitch? We miss it. We actually were coming out of commercial breaks, and it was 1 or 2 pitches behind. And I know some people did not have that issue. Like Adam B in the chat, you're saying you didn't miss any pitches. But there are a lot of people like ourselves that we missed pitches. They were running their commercial breaks too long. And I know how this goes since, I've been in enough broadcasts where they're like pulling the feeds from different places and they're trying to coordinate the commercial breaks. This is playoff time. There's no reason you should be having these mistakes. If you're having these mistakes, it's spring. It's early parts of the season. It's spring baseball. Okay. But at this point,
that was
in the playoffs, in a game that was literally back and forth down to the wire, and we're missing pitches, it's unacceptable. It's completely,
that was really bad,
completely unprofessional. Because again, thankfully, we didn't miss a home run, an RBI, a major play. But what if we had? And now we have no idea what's going on. You come out of commercials, and all you're getting they're down in the pitch count. It's a 1-1 pitch. Like what did we miss? So hopefully that gets figured out.
Very unserious. Come on, Fox. Be better.
Hopefully that gets figured out. But thankfully, after going down 3-0, the Phillies were able to rally, starting in the 6th inning. I know in the chat it was said, and I forget actually who said it. I'll give you a nod in a moment. The fact
Everybody
that the
in the
Phillies,
chat, hit the thumbs up while you're in here, even if it's thumb down. People from Rat City, if you want to hit the thumbs down, that's fine too. I don't mind. You can thumbs down us. Just interact with those thumbs.
Interact with those thumbs is hilarious.
Or sit on it if you're from Rat City. I don't care.
Oh my gosh, not that again. Don't you start, Jamie.
Hey, you were the one talking
down,
other stuff during the broadcast.
About camel toes. That's how down bad we were. I was actually weirdly thinking about this while I was warming up my pizza. This game was so bad in the beginning of the game that we were talking about camel toes and wedgies.
Well, somebody was talking about camel toes. Me and Tyler.
We all were. Like, whether you contributed to the conversation or not, the conversation was being had.
It was fun hanging out with people.
Because we were watching for the first, innings of this game, and there was nothing from the offense. So thank goodness we got to a point where we no longer had to just fill time talking about camel toes, and instead we could talk about the Phillies getting over the hump.
Yeah.
Ha-ha. And getting over the hump.
She's a pro, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Now
and scoring some runs.
Now we didn't get to listen because of YouTube. We have to listen to the game on mute because and copyright and all that stuff. Apparently AJ Przinsky's horrible because somebody, Adam B in here, said Przinsky is lousy too. I was getting texts from my Mets buddies like, what the hell are these guys talking about? I saw our friend Absolutely Hammered on Twitter saying it would be impossible for you to convince me that AJ Przinsky played 20 years of Major League Baseball the way he talks about the game. So I guess I'll have to pay attention.
What was the Trey Turner or Bryce Harper?
Oh, yeah. I don't know which one said that because my Mets buddy had texted me. And apparently one of the guys on the broadcast said it would be better to allow Trey Turner to hit a home run than to face Bryce Harper. The game was tied in the 9th inning. If Trey Turner hits a home run, the Mets lose. Just a bad broadcast. I'm looking forward to not seeing them anymore. That's all.
Yeah. I'd like to not see them, and I'd like to not see the Mets. I do feel like if the Phillies are gonna fall short of winning a World Series this year, which is possible, it's hard to win a World Series. Championships are not easy in any sport. Do not lose to the Mets. That is like where I draw the line. I just feel like there are certain teams. Again, it goes back to your pride. It goes back to the pure fact that you just had a remarkable season. You had a great NL East winning season. You had a great overall season. To then turn around, you cannot afford to lose to the Mets. So thank goodness the series is now split and is now 1-1. We're heading back to Citi Field with new life. And hopefully the broadcasts get better, but hopefully so do the Phillies. Because we do have our pregame show Tuesday, where we'll be able to get into the pitching matchup, preview the game. Of course, tomorrow we're back live as well. So we got plenty of time to continue talk. We do live here. This is our home.
Yeah, it's going to be Sean Manaea versus Aaron Nola. Mm-hmm. We'll get into all the splits of home, numbers for Manaea versus road and all that good stuff. But the lefty, I would imagine Austin Hayes probably starts on Tuesday facing a lefty starter. Mm-hmm. Aaron Nola, look. Aaron Nola is one of the most polarizing Phillies I can ever remember.
Yeah.
Probably overhated on by a lot. Probably, I don't even want to say he's too overloved. He's just like kind of overhated on for being a really good pitcher. Now, this moment, I mean,
big.
This is the biggest moment of his career. And this is a guy that's pitched in World Series. This is a guy that's pitched in plenty of big games. But like this, it's a 1-game series now.
I have to ask.
Every game.
I have to ask. For everybody in the chat, I don't care if you're a Mets fan or a Phillies fan, I have to ask, guys. Series is now tied up. And like I said pregame, if you had told me, especially with how the Mets have been playing well lately, again, they were at one point like 24 and 30 something on the season at June 2nd, and then turned around and had a tremendous end to the season. We know this. We've been watching baseball. We're aware. So they are a good team. I would have loved to sweep for the Phillies that they swept them, but I didn't think it was going to happen.
Well, we all thought
I thought the Mets at one point were going to win a game. Correct. 5 games is our prediction. But now that the series is split, whole new series, whole new ball game, what are your predictions for games 3, 4, and 5? Gut check. This is just
game 5 isn't guaranteed yet.
It's not guaranteed. Yeah. It's not. But that's the thing. Like, if you think there's going to be a game 5,
I'm going to go with
Sunday night.
I'm going to go with my 5-year-old. Skylar said if they win today, they're winning the series. I'm going to ride with Skylar. I think the Phillies are going to pull it off. I think something changed offensively with the Phillies in this game. Somebody said they believe all the runs came with 2 outs. We'll have to fact check.
They were 2 out runs.
I don't know if all of them were. They might have been.
Well, I mean, the walk-off wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Austin Hayes was out.
Yeah, there was 2 outs, right? It was only 1 out?
Yeah, just Austin Hayes.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But I mean, the other ones were
6 were all 2 outs. But like, that's playoff baseball. You know, Tyler, I've always said it to him, like, you know, playoff baseball is decided on 2-out RBIs. That's what it boils down to at the end of a lot of these games. And the Phillies were able to get the 2-out RBIs. Hopefully, it's something that travels with them. I'm gonna ride with Skylar and say the Phillies get it done.
All right. K-Red's also feeling like Skylar's got the right choice, that they're gonna win it all.
How about
Seth
you?
F is saying no game 5. The Phillies are ending it in New York City.
That'd be cool. I would enjoy that. Yeah.
So you're not gonna love my answer because it's a 2-part.
Oh, 2-part.
I think the Phillies, if the Phillies win, and it's going to be in 4. But now that I've seen the first 2 games, I think if this goes to 5, I think the Mets win it. And I hate to even say that because it'd be back at Citizens Bank Park. I know, guys. I'm so sorry. I think the Phillies have to close this out in 4. I don't think you can go to a game 5. Because at that point, it's a 1 game.
Too tight a sphincters?
It's a 1 Absolutely. And I just feel like, here's my reasoning. And I hope I'm wrong. But I just think the Mets have been doing a much better job. You look at all of their recent wins, especially, it's been season on the line, doubleheader, you take game 1 against the Braves. It's been series on the line against the Brewers. You take games 1 and games 3. It's all these moments where they're counted out. I think they're handling the adversity and the pressure a little bit more than the Phillies are right now. And I hate to even say that. And I want to vomit just saying it. But I do think in a game 5 situation with how both these teams have been playing, I'd be terrified for that. I think the Phillies have to go win the next 2.
I hated everything about your answer, Tyler. How do you feel now?
I'm sorry, guys.
It's a 3-game series. Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler get to go in 2 of those. Game 3 could be a combination.
Game 5 would be Zach Wheeler,
but Sanchez, Ranger, and and others. So we'll see.
Game 5 would be Zach Wheeler pitching, yes, but
no, you go Zach Wheeler game 4.
No,
it would be short rest.
It'd be less days rest. Game 5, if it's Zach Wheeler pitching game 5,
then Aaron Nola, you can pitch game 5 on short rest.
Unfortunately,
let's get to a 7-game series.
The Phillies have dropped the last 2 games that Aaron Nola pitched against the Mets, and they also have not. Like, there's no guarantee they're going to win with Zach Wheeler pitching. He's been pitching phenomenally all season.
I'm not worried about 5 days rest right now. Zach Wheeler's taking the ball in game 4.
I would love that. And I'd love that they go on and win it. Because I think that if you go to game 5, I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. Tyler, now I'll let you get into your prediction.
I think Zach takes it.
So I'm actually the inverse of you, Renee. I think if this series ends in 4, it means the Mets went back to Queens and won both of them. I think if it goes 5, I think that the Phillies, with Wheeler on the what I would perceive to be Wheeler on the mound, would be the victor in this one. We've talked about this for a week now, maybe not a week, but close to a week, about this series going 5. I think it does go the distance. And I think with Wheeler getting a second start, that's where the difference maker could lie. That's why for me, if it's Phillies in 5, I do think that that's the case. Obviously, it becomes a 3-game series.
And I'm nervous. I'm all around just nervous. Honestly,
it's playoff baseball. You're gonna be. You get heart palpitations. Your chest gets tight.
How about Skylar's Lucky Fanatic shirt? Where's that in your equation, huh?
Well, I mean,
she's wearing it. Are you taking that into account? Look at it. There she is. Julia, our own head of production, was at my house watching with my girls. And there's Paige. They were fired up. They're holding Halloween skulls.
Guys, I don't know. I just feel like the Phillies have to. Okay, here's our chat comments. Let me read what you guys are saying.
Yeah, what's the vibe check in the chat room?
So Rich is saying you're fired, which is fine. It pains me to even say that. It does pain me to say that. But it's saying I'm fired, which is totally fine. If it goes 5, the Phillies are winning, the bats are back, and Wheeler's pitching game 5. On paper, whenever Zach Wheeler pitches, it should feel like an automatic win. Lately, it has not been. It started off this season 0-3 for Zach.
Not his doing, though.
It's not his fault.
He's been great.
It's not his fault at all. It's no shortcomings of Zach Wheeler. He's literally been one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. It's been, for whatever reason, when Zach Wheeler is pitching, the offense is not always there. We saw that his first 3 starts this season. We've seen that the last 2 starts of the season for him. So it's not on Zach. So, yes, I hope I'm wrong. Not swinging my PP around like a helicopter propeller.
What? We got helicopter PPs. Wait, is that the username?
That's his username. Swinging my PP around like a helicopter propeller.
Wow.
That's something I feel like would be your name.
That is a beautiful YouTube name.
I don't even know how you come up with that. Kudos. I don't even know how you have enough characters for that. But you were saying, to clarify, there were 2 outs during the walk-off. Hayes struck out and Schwarber popped up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was all 7 runs.
It was too. I forgot about Schwarber. My bad, Kyle Schwarber. Yes, I did forget about him.
Yeah.
He was 0 for the day, so I forgot about him.
That's a great point from helicopter swinging around like a PP. What was it? PP swinging around like
my PP around like a helicopter propeller. That is a great point. They were great with 2 outs today. Adam B, you're saying game 4 is scary because Ranger has to have a short leash.
I don't know if it's necessarily Ranger.
Well, it's not Ranger if you lose. Let me put it that way.
No, it's definitely Zach Wheeler if you lose.
Correct. I think you would have to go on short rest.
Good clarifying
you would have
point.
to go on short rest.
I think if you
111 pitches, doesn't matter. You roll him back out there game 4 if the Phillies lose game 3.
So game 4 is Wednesday night, correct?
Yeah.
So you would have pitched Saturday, be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You're talking about 3 days rest.
Correct.
Do you want him going 3 days rest? Not particularly, but at
Does
some
Zach
point,
Wheeler want the ball in his hand?
At some point, he's going to start on short rest no matter what.
Right.
Correct. Right. So if you lose game 3. You probably are saying, hey man, take them out and give us what you can give us.
And Nola probably goes in game 5 in that situation short rest.
Oh, boy.
It's the playoffs. Short rest. You're going to have guys pitching on short rest. I'm giving Zach Wheeler the ball game 4, win or lose.
Okay.
That's how important I think. Like, especially if you take game 3, don't give them a second to feel like they have hope. Send Zach Wheeler out there in his old stadium to finish them off. Zach Wheeler's a horse. A horse. And just give him the ball. Don't overthink this. Don't play around with Ranger. Give him the ball.
Give him the ball. All right. Last couple before we wrap up the show. Vic, you're saying Phillies in 4. The Mets are out of gas. Thank you, Rich. I'm glad you were just kidding. I'm not fired. I'm still here. And then MK, you're saying the Phillies, you think, in your opinion, work best as underdogs historically. They do.
No one likes
next
this, and
2 in New York should be good for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you have it, guys. We will be live again 11 a.m. tomorrow. We do have our Tuesday, again, pregame show, watch party, and postgame show at Golem Co. at the Port Richmond location.
Miller Lights will be flowing. Come drink them with us.
Make sure you register online for that event, and it's a free event. Come hang with us for some food and some delicious, refreshing Miller Lite. And then also check out all the exciting things, the articles, the merch that we've dropped, and much more here at PHLY because it's playoff time, baby.
Tyler has something for us. I think we're going to like it.
Before we end, because apparently
he wanted to work it in. I know you were trying to end
I couldn't do anything right today with this computer. So let's see if this
Technology
works.
hates you today,
This was sent to me by some of our production staff. Brenna is helping us out behind the scenes. She did an awesome job.
Yes, I already tweeted it out.
I want to make sure we can get this played.
What are you showing us?
The reaction to the walk-off. We'll sing one with the gap. Come on.
Yes!
Yeah.
Nick Castellanos, baby.
Screw you, Miguel. That was a screw you, Miguel.
Wait, I feel like I can't actually do that. I never could do that. I never did that.
What do you mean you can't do that?
I can't do that.
You just do that.
Oh, there it is. I never did that. Wow!
I got
Phillies
life.
win! Tied up series, 1-1, headed back to Citi Field. Thank you, Nick
I'm gonna drink all the
Castellanos.
Miller Lights.
Thank you, Bryce Harper. Thank you, Cristopher Sanchez. Thank you to the Phillies for letting us get a good night's sleep tonight because it's a victory, and it was a nice victory post-game show hanging with you guys. As always, for Tyler, Jamie, myself, Renee, thank you guys so much for hanging. Phillies are back, baby. Headed to Citi Field to take over this NLDS and close out in New York City. We're claiming it in 4 and 5 and 5. Either way, Phillies are winning. And we'll see you guys back 11 a.m. tomorrow morning live here on PHLY Phillies, presented by Ace Hardware. Bye, guys.